Chapter 10, Misa. The next day. Monday morning, October 3rd. Completely oblivious to my absence during the night, Sarah's morning ritual followed the same pattern as always. Wake up, prepare for school, drag my carcass out of bed, make breakfast, then depart. As has become apparent lately, however, it's not an easy routine to follow when said carcass doesn't return home until the early hours of morning. But after preparing a bowl of cereal for her worthless brother and kissing him goodbye, Sarah indeed carried on with her day as usual, leaving me with the privacy I needed to work. Weaponry, next-gen armor, all sorts of high-tech gadgets. Everything in here is a decade ahead of its time. It's wonder Adder even bother with their fake wonder drugs. It's obvious that their primary income doesn't stem from selling medication. The stuff in here looks like it was taken directly out of some sci-fi series. If anyone had presented me with these, there's no way in hell I'd have believed them. It's all postmodern stuff that nobody in their right mind would come up with. I mean, really, an oscillating blade? What the hell is that? And these personal flight pods. How can you mount submachine guns to the front of a vehicle, yet still claim it's for transport? Everything in here is a weapon or made for some kind of war. Do Adders supply the military with this stuff? Are they actually an intelligence agency like of a James Bond film? Or are Adder trying to build an empire, just like Karasu? Knowing my luck, that's exactly what's going on. Karasu and Adder both rushing to build their empires with me stuck in the middle, working for the side without a multi-billion-dollar international corporation. All the money in the world isn't sufficient payment for going up against Adder, and I settled on a single house. Just as my stress level seemed to be rising, I cast a glance at the clock, realizing just what time it was. Among the many work-related matters swirling around my head, there was still one event which could go either way. And even if I had many reservations about my job in general, that was no excuse to keep my date waiting. Leaving my house later than intended, I arrived at Central Park right on time. I had to push through a surprising amount of foot traffic, and I almost lost my way a couple of times, but at the pace I was walking, I somehow managed. There are more people out than I had expected. Most people should be at work or at school by now, so I thought the streets would be relatively empty. Unfortunately, being such a busy part of the city, that's rarely the case. As I wandered around the area, silently cursing Sai's vague meeting place of Central Park, I soon set my eyes on my partner for the morning. Waiting under the sun's harsh rays was Misa, who already seemed to be enduring the repercussions of her choice in clothing. Between her decision to wear a black jumper and the fact that she was waiting in direct sunlight, the heat was no doubt taking its toll on her, causing visible sweat to form on her face and neck. Why the heck is she wearing a jumper on a day like today? For that matter, why hasn't Misa just removed her jumper? She's obviously uncomfortable. For reasons beyond my knowledge, Misa continued to endure the unpleasant rays of the morning sun, sweating profusely as she waited for her partner. It would be cruel of me to keep Misa waiting any longer. Time to begin our morning together. Good morning, Misa. I guess my greeting didn't merit a reply. Oh well, no use dwelling on it. First of all, we need to decide what we'll do for the day. I haven't really given it any thought, but we should be able to kill at least a few hours, right? Besides, it's for Misa's sake that we're here. Surely she has a destination in mind. So, have you given any thought as to where you'd like to go? Or not? Apparently it's up to me after all. Where would be a good place to take a nice young girl with a habit of killing people? How about a museum? I'm sure a city of this size must have one. Sai did want me to teach her about this culture after all, and a girl as quiet as Misa would be most welcome there. No good, huh? Sai may want our outing to be educational, but that doesn't mean Misa feels the same way. I can't blame her for not wanting to go to an educational facility during her free time. Or perhaps Misa simply doesn't want to be here with me. It's not as though I ever saw her father actually ask if she wanted to go. We could go to the pool, or maybe the movies. This girl does speak English, right? Fine, let's just walk around town. city is like during the day, huh? When I was with Marcus, we spent a lot of time traveling between targets, but we mostly just sat on public transport and went for short walks around smaller districts. Actually walking around in the heart of the city like this during broad daylight is just awful. Misa and I started off walking with a meter, so between us, but as the crowd grew thicker, Misa inched closer to my side. You're not a fan of crowds either, huh? I figured as much. Even without Misa saying a word, she clearly feels uncomfortable. And who could blame her? Stuck with someone who's more or less a stranger, walking down crowded streets in sweltering heat dressed in a sweater. While I can't help the fact that she's stuck with me, I can at least do something about her other sources of discomfort. Seeking to ease Misa's heat exhaustion, I escorted her to a nearby mall, wherein we immediately reveled in the cold air. Feeling better now? She isn't the only one. On a hot day like today, you really can't beat free air conditioning. Better yet, while there are still more people here than I'd like, it isn't as crowded as on the street. As far as venues go, this has to be... Before Misa and I could venture any further inside or visit any of the stores, the sound of her stomach growling reached my ears. Hungry. Well, we have been walking around for a while. Let's eat, shall we? Yeah, those mall food courts are overpriced, man. I mean, even actually, well, gain money for killing people, this is still gonna cost an arm and a leg. As Misa and I approached the shopping center's food court, we found ourselves swarmed by people once again. We were able to place our orders easily enough, with Misa simply pointing out what she wanted, but with so many people around, I doubted whether or not we'd get a seat. Honestly, how did we get stuck with the midday rush? We couldn't have been walking around for that long. And whose bright idea was it to buy lunch in a crowded food court anyway? At least when Marcus and I were collecting, the restaurants we visited were practically empty. If the crowd doesn't disperse soon, we're going to end up eating while standing. After receiving our orders and making our way to a less crowded part of the food court, Misa and I found seats at last. In front of me was my order of chicken curry, and before Misa sat her fried rice with sweet pork. Those are odd things to find in a food court. Okay. The smell alone was enough to make me salivate, especially after walking around with so little in my stomach all morning, so I couldn't wait to dig in. But as I looked across at Misa, she didn't seem to share my enthusiasm. Is something wrong? Is it possible that I misunderstood Misa's order? She did make her selection with the point of a finger after all. Or perhaps Misa herself got the order wrong. Sai did make it sound like Misa isn't overly familiar with this country, and I haven't heard her speak a word of English. No, wait. I know what this is. And Sara thinks I can't read people. Never used a fork and knife before, huh? Like this. I showed Misa how to cut the pork, then scooped up some pork and rice with the fork and brought it to her mouth. Now that's what I like to see. Sara would probably call me intolerant for assuming that was the issue, but you can't argue with results. Just as I can use a knife and fork, but can't figure out chopsticks, there's no shame in the reverse being true. Not that Misa seems to be having any such issue now. She's a much faster learner than I am, I'll give her that. Too easy, huh? As I looked at Misa's radiant smile, I forgot all about her occupation and sketchy life, if only for a moment. Whether the girl in front of me was truly a ruthless killer, an unfortunate victim of her father's career, or something in between, all I could see was a young girl enjoying her time above ground. Misa began to happily cut into her food once more, no longer barred by the minor lack of understanding preventing her from letting loose. Wow, Misa must have been hungry, just look at her go. Speaking of which, if I don't hurry up, Misa's going to finish without me. After eating our fill, during which I spent most of my time trying not to laugh at Misa's enthusiasm, the two of us walked around the mall looking for ways to kill time. We didn't actually visit many stores, but given our goal for the day, I'd say the trip was a success. Continuing to betray the reserved image she earned earlier, Misa excitedly pointed to store after store, quickly basically eating time as we wander around aimlessly. I fulfilled my duty as a tour guide by explaining the purpose behind each venue, but for the most part my explanations appear to go in one ear and out the other. Either Misa already knew exactly what the venues were for, or she'd rather go in and experience them firsthand. Having passed the initial hurdle of awkwardness, the time Misa and I spent together soon passed, and before I knew it, it was time to see her off. We hadn't agreed on an exact time, but with the sun setting and my sister's return quickly approaching, I thought it was time to end our outing. As per my agreement with Sai, I escorted Misa back to the all-too-familiar arena. I wasn't told of an exact drop-off point, but this should be fine, right? Karasu's office is only a short walk from here, and I presume that Misa's home, wherever it may be, can't be too far from here either. Alright, this is it. I guess I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. What is it? Weirdo. Despite the fact that she never said a word, Misa took off with a smile, broadcasting her enjoyment without reservation. After seeing Misa off, I arrived back home at an unusually early hour. Since I admitted to my sister that I no longer worked at the warehouse, I had no reason to waste my time in the city, and my work for the week wasn't something I could go off and deal with on a whim. With that in mind, I could arrive home early in the afternoon, guilt-free, and offer Sara no explanation whatsoever for my return, trusting that she'd rather take peace in my presence than question it. Sara usually gets home at approximately 4:15 p.m. during the week, giving me almost half an hour before her return. That should give me enough time to bathe and study Sai's blueprints before Sara gets back. Although I hadn't started working on my assignment for the week, Karasu's other project was still nagging at the back of my mind. Misa had taken up my morning, and I couldn't look over anything work-related in Sara's presence, so the short gap between the two seemed like my best bet. So wherever these people are, the sun is setting approximately at 3:45 p.m.? I can't really think of a place that would meet that criteria. Well, judging from the climate, they're clearly in the northern hemisphere. They'd have to be really far north for something like that, and the sun would also have to rise at a really awkward time. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where to predict this Richmond being located. I want to say the U.S. is just too far south for that criteria. One shower and study session later, I returned to the living room awaiting the arrival of my sister. 4:15 had come and gone, but I still waited patiently, anticipating her return. I'm home. 4:30 p.m., huh? Well, it was close enough. Sara probably just missed the bus or something. Afternoon, sis? Yeah. Responding half-heartedly, Sara immediately averted her gaze, showing no sign of her usual enthusiasm. Unfortunately for Sara, her aversion simply gave me the opportunity to show twice in one day that even I could read people. I know that look. Which subject are you failing this time, It's not like that, really. Relax, I'm not your father. Besides, my grades were far worse than yours, so I'm in no position to criticize. So which subject is it? History again? Art? Suoh? The school counselor asked me to give you this. The counselor? I opened the envelope and read the letter within. They want me to attend a counseling session with you. Yeah, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Sighing inwardly, I could already guess what the counseling session would be about. They do know that it's been over a month since their parents died, right? It's a little late now. Damn, like I don't have enough on my plate already. And what makes a school counselor think that they're qualified to handle family deaths anyway? Isn't that a little far out of their pay grade? Don't worry, I don't expect you to go. You have work, right? And I'm sure she won't have anything meaningful to say. You've got that right. But won't you get in trouble? If I don't show, they'll probably assume that you never gave me that letter. Oh wait, I'm not you, you know. People actually trust me to do the right thing. Ouch. You've got me there. Letters aimed at me were always mailed to our house. I'd forgotten about that. Even letters for school events and award ceremonies were mailed to our house. You really did make a bad name for yourself. It's not like I was trying to. I just wanted to avoid unnecessary conflict. By losing your report cards and forgetting that you had detention? Exactly. What do you think would happen if our parents saw my actual grades? Well, despite your efforts, they got to see them in the end anyway. As I recall, Dad patted you on the back and Mom took away your handheld gaming console. I'd forgotten about that. I should really go back and get some of my games one of these days. Anyway, as I was saying, just leave it to me. If she has anything interesting to say, I'll let you know. On that note, Sarah headed towards our bedroom to get changed, leaving me alone with the letter from school. I felt that there was something more that Sarah wasn't telling me, and that visiting the counselor together might be amusing, but ultimately I decided to pay the letter no more thought. As Sarah said, I have work to do, and Sarah will pass on any important information anyway. So in this case, I'm just glad to have dodged a bullet. As night blanketed the city and my sister fell into a deep sleep, I wandered around the dark streets surrounding my destination for the night. Per my instructions, I made my way to Andre's gym, ready for my first night of training with Sai. Andre's gym, huh? It hasn't been that long since our training together, yet it already feels like a lifetime ago. Since I stopped working as a collector, it seems like this place is always closed, day and night. I guess Andre is back to doing collections himself, too busy to run a gym on the side. Despite the brief flash of nostalgia, my dominant feeling upon entry was unease. The moment I entered the gym, what awaited me was once again a pitch-black venue, and the ominous feeling from last time came back in full force. Damn, I should have known. Before I realized it, I could feel the icy touch of steel pressed up against my throat. Without making a sound, my would-be killer closed the distance between us and drew his weapon, bringing me an inch away from death. I knew immediately that if we were on an assignment and I was the target, I would have died the moment I opened the door. You're dead? The cold, familiar tone reaffirmed what I already knew to be true. Yeah, I know. Fortunately for me, we weren't on an assignment, and I wasn't a target. The person waiting for me was Sai, my new instructor, the one coworker of mine who always looked and acted like a real killer. As Sai let go, the gym gradually grew lighter, revealing the face of my instructor for the night. Here. Wasting no time with idle chatter, Sai immediately threw a pair of knives towards my feet. Knives? What are these for? Do you have to ask? We're here to train, and from what I hear, knives are your specialty. I wouldn't call them my specialty. They're just the only kind of weapon I've ever used. Today, you'll learn how real killers wield knives. Take this too. As I tried to balance the knives in one hand, Sai threw towards me a sealed plastic satchel with jet black clothes inside. A change of clothes? Why do I need to get changed in order to train? Would you rather risk cutting up your own clothes? Oh. Yeah, that would be bad. Going home with my clothes cut into pieces raised all kinds of alarms and bells for my sister. I removed the plastic from around the garb and inspected the outfit. This doesn't seem terribly comfortable, but it beats the alternative. I put on the pitch-black outfit and picked up the knives at my feet. The clothes were tight and the knives were different than any I'd used before, but as a whole it didn't feel out of place. Actually, this isn't half bad. I kinda feel like a real assassin. Black, skin-tight clothes, knives with the express purpose of killing. As I began to marvel at my new outfit, a third presence made itself known. Silently encroaching from near the ring, a being dressed in black walked over, holding in their right hand a sword the length of which matched their short stature. They walked over slowly, gradually coming into the light, but even as the distance between us shortened, the darkness continued to mask their face and body, making it difficult to tell who it was. Are you both ready? Yeah. Good. Sai breathed in deeply, watching both of his students give their approval as he added one last warning. Careful not to kill him, Misa. Wait, did he just say... Wasting no time, Misa closed the distance between us in the blink of an eye. She swung the blade from her left, narrowly missing my throat, then immediately followed through with a swipe from her right, opening a slit in my native clothes from which drops of blood flew out. Crap, crap, crap. Misa isn't playing around. Practice or not, she's out for blood. I need to come up with a strategy ASAP. Crud, I think I chose the wrong one. Just to put out a disclaimer real quick, you get the achievements in this game for getting the bad endings, so I'm going to try to seek those out first. I was hoping that moving in would be an accidental kill, but just in case I need to rewind and get my achievement, I'm dropping a save here. Misa's blade sliced through the air to my right, this time stopping dead the moment it reached my body. Rather than jump backwards, I moved in, holding my body close to Misa's and restricting her movement. Swords may have the edge over knives when it comes to reach, but at this distance I have the advantage. Misa needs some space in order to move the way she wants. She can't maneuver the thing properly when I'm this close. Fast learner. As Sai's words reached my ear, I calmed down slightly, remembering my other objective. That's right. I need to prove to Sai, prove to everyone, that I have what it takes, that my first hit wasn't a fluke. I'll show them that Misa once again moved like lightning, positioning herself only a foot in front of me and readying her blade immediately. She got me. One kill for Misa. It's not just her speed. Misa has deadly accuracy and control. Misa landed only shallow cuts, not deep enough to do any real damage, but she was able to stop her blade a mere inch away from my throat. A real killer indeed. Again. The second the command left Sai's mouth, Misa went on the offensive once more. I barely managed to raise my blades in defense of her sword cut from the side, and it took every ounce of my strength to parry her attack with one hand. Keeping my other knife free, I swung at Misa's chest, unsure of where else I could hit her without risking her life. But as I attempted to land my first hit, Misa effortlessly dodged the blade, ducking under the slash without even showing a hint of losing her composure. Your opponent is shorter than you are. Aiming for the chest is pointless. Go for the throat. Sai advised me from the sidelines, no doubt confident that I couldn't land a hit on his daughter no matter where I aimed. Rather than attack again, however, I used the lesson I learned from our first bout and moved in closer, brushing aside Misa's blade as I escaped her optimal strike zone. Or at least I tried to. As I moved in, Misa gracefully glided under my grasp and navigated her way around my body. Bereft of hesitation and difficulty alike, Misa once again positioned her blade in my throat, signaling the end of our second round. 2 kills for Misa. Suoh, don't underestimate your opponent because of her size. She's much faster and more nimble than you could ever hope to be. No kidding. Misa isn't particularly strong, despite the fact that she's wielding a sword with 2 hands. I was able to block her with a single knife wielded in one hand. What she lacks in strength, she more than makes up for with her speed and dexterity. Again, if I'm going to land even a single blow, I need to learn how to counter her speed. And if I don't do it soon, well, she can only cut me so many times before I keel over. Maybe there wasn't an achievement to be found here. Oh well. 2 long, sweaty, painful, death-defying hours passed, and at long last we called it a night. 4 wins, 168 losses. I lost by a landslide. Though we took short periodic breaks, those 2 hours were predominantly spent in combat. So if they did 170 matches in 120 minutes, that means the average match did not even last 1 minute. The average time is going to be something like 40 to 45 seconds. I can't calculate the exact time right now, but wow, and that's without breaks. So when you factor in the breaks, they lasted even shorter than that. Our matches grew longer as the night progressed, partly because I grew accustomed to fighting Misa one-on-one, but mostly because she simply lacked my stamina. Thanks to that, I actually managed to win a few matches towards the end. Of course, as Misa's exhaustion became evident to me, Sai naturally called an end to the night's training. 4 wins on your part, not bad at all. You've improved dramatically over the last 2 hours. So he says, but we both know that it was only due to Misa's mercy and exhaustion that I lasted as long as I did. Misa cut me fast and shallow without a moment's hesitation, making incisions light enough that I could continue to fight, but deep enough to hurt and bleed plenty. I hope you're right. So, real quick, if he actually was losing blood like that, there's no way he could actually just keep up with her stamina. The blood loss would compensate for anything that he had that she didn't. I was really getting my ass kicked for a while there. Misa handed me some band-aids and bandages after we finished, which I promptly used to close up the innumerable cuts she inflicted upon me. Luckily, there were no terribly deep cuts. Plenty of small, painful cuts, but nothing that wouldn't heal within a week. With my wounds dressed, I changed back into my regular clothes, presuming that her night was at its end. Have fun, Misa? As exhausted as our train left Misa, she was still able to summon as much enthusiasm as ever. I guess it's probably more fun to be on the giving end of cuts like these, huh? Not that I didn't enjoy myself. Anyway, that will do for tonight. Same time tomorrow morning and evening. Sir? It's nothing. Don't get yourself killed. Chapter end.